Hello and welcome to The Mill. I am your host, Dusty Crane, and this week we are talking about the July 2019 Stonemaier Games Newsletter. As is tradition, Jamie usually sends out that newsletter and then goes on his Facebook live stream. Didn't happen this week. Facebook was having issues. If you were on Facebook, you probably noticed that not many images were loading, and it was just a disaster for everyone who uses Facebook to pass the time. And I think we're all good now. So hopefully we'll have a live stream next Wednesday. But let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of the content that was in that newsletter. I got my notes right here, so hopefully those aren't too loud. But something that's not really super news, but we knew that Jamie and Alan will not be at Gen Con this year. They will be skipping this year. I guess we'll see about next year. I think Jamie might start using this as an opportunity to vacation. And so there will be a Stonemaier presence at the Meeple Source booth. And you can see a lot of people that I've come to know through the Stonemaier communities working at that booth and demoing some games. So look them up. The next thing that was on there was the Scythe modular board is currently available on the Stonemaier Games website, but it will be available for retail release here coming up pretty soon, July 26th. The next one, there was pictures of this Wingspan event. You may have heard it was going to be held at the Audubon Center. It's in St. Louis, but due to some flooding, they had to go ahead and move that to another location. The name of the place was the Old Bakery Brewery, and the pictures that have popped up looked like a really good time. It looked like a really nice establishment because it was a brewery. It looked like there was some great beer, and it looks like a lot of happy Stonemaier fans playing Wingspan for the first time, or maybe they weren't yet Stonemaier fans and they were birders that were checking out Wingspan, but it did look like a good time was had by all. So let's get into the area that I always kind of get to first on those newsletters when they come out. Is I like seeing kind of that Stonemaier status that they post, that Jamie puts together, that graphic. And we did finally get some timing on some of these games that are coming soon. Codename Clay finally has a Q3 2019 release date, so that means in the next few months here. This month, I mean, it could technically be this month. Third quarter is typically, July, August, and September, right? So we should be hearing Codename Clay really, really quick. It looked like over the course of the last month, it finished the pre-production and the components were still in progress. But this month, the components are done. Printing and assembling is underway, and that is good news. We should have something new from Stonemaier on our table very soon. The next game that we got a big status boost on was we had an ETA for the first expansion of Wingspan. We don't know, what area that's covering yet, or what that actually entails, but it is a Q4 2019 release, and I mean, what good timing. Hopefully Wingspan is fully available to everyone who wants a copy at that point, and for Christmas to have an expansion under the tree, or whatever holiday that you want to give a gift to somebody. That is a really cool addition. I'm looking forward to seeing what that entails, what continent, if they're going continent or if they're just going to go some other way. We will find out. But last month, or this month actually, Wingspan is in the components phase of the status graphic. And so because those two products are so close to market, I'm going to go ahead and guess that, we talked last week about that product that Jamie was teasing was just off camera, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think it was the pre-production copy of Clay. Maybe I've already said that, but all of these green dots are adding up, and I think that's what it was. I think that's what he was teasing there. But I guess if not Clay, then the Wingspan expansion. Just to look at the other statuses provided there, Automa Factory, it looks like they got their solo work done for both the Wingspan expansion and for Codename Clay. Or I'm sorry, Codename Sand. I was going to say Clay is already coming out. They've got to be long done. But the solo design work for Codename Sand and for the My Little Scythe expansion. So those are tentatively scheduled, it looks like, as 2020 releases, but we're getting closer on those too. The biggest mover and shaker this month was not any of those titles that I mentioned at all. In fact, it is Codename Gold, which I think last month was the first month we heard anything about Codename Gold. The design work for that is finished. The design is done. It's moved into I almost said production. It's moved into development and blind playtesting. Now, I did notice that the art isn't done, and Jamie likes to get the art done early. I think that is the reason for that is I think Codename Gold is one of the games that Jamie has a co-designer on, and so that might explain why the art is not even begun yet. But I also think that I think Codename Gold is probably that Red Rising game that Jamie tried to make happen once upon a time, and wasn't able to find anything he liked, and so he reached out and somebody presented something that he did like, and so they're working on it together. I don't know why, but I mean, I'm going to say that, in my opinion, that's Codename Gold, and that kind of ties into one of the titles from the Red Rising books. It's Golden something. I guess I should have prepped a little better for that bullet point, but yeah, so that one made a whole lot of progress this month, going from basically just design work to already being in development and playtesting. Let's go ahead and shift gears now to outside of the newsletter content. I want to talk a little bit about Wingspan, and I wasn't expecting to talk about Wingspan this week, but I got a comment on one of the videos I did a few months ago. Maybe it wasn't quite so long ago, but I did a video talking about the fan-made expansions for Wingspan. And one of them that kind of rose to the top is kind of, in my opinion, like the cream of the crop that we saw was one by Sam Gray. And if you don't remember, that was one that introduced habitats and let's see here, they had chicks and habitats and chick track. They had new brown and pink cards that encouraged indirect user interaction, and what I thought was coolest was these purple cards, and the purple cards had both when played powers and ongoing powers, and you had to choose one, and that was what you were stuck with for the remainder of the game. I liked that you had that, that choice to make on that one card. It kind of gave a very familiar feel, a mechanic that we're used to, but now you had a choice on, are you taking that when played, or are you taking the ongoing bonus? So the reason I tell you all this is that that person who commented on my video was asking me, where can I grab the PnP file? It was out there on BGG. It's not anymore. In fact, I looked. I thought maybe he just overlooked it, or she overlooked it. I thought surely, it's there, and it's not there. In fact, I went ahead and looked in the comments, and Sam Gray had posted on BGG, this was June 12th, that he's been planning on making some updates, and so he is going to upload the files in a bit, but he needed to make some changes, and that he's just been quite busy. Now, why is that relevant? This sounds a lot like the line that Hobie Chow gave when people asked for the plug and play, or I'm sorry, for the print and play. My IT guy is showing the print and play for My Little Scythe. Perhaps you've heard of that game? Yeah, it was a print and play first, but yeah. So has Sam Gray been recruited to work on the Wingspan expansion? I don't know. I know Jamie had mentioned that ultimately, he liked what he saw, but it wasn't his decision to make. This is Elizabeth's game, and it's up to her whether she wants to bring on co-designers. This, as I mentioned, should sound really familiar due to Hobie and My Little Scythe, but I wasn't content to just leave it as speculation. I decided to, for a change, just ask Jamie outright what he thought of the fact that Sam's content wasn't there, if he wanted to, make a statement, which I fully expected to be no comment. Jamie actually responded with, I honestly wasn't aware of Sam Gray's expansion being taken down. I admire his work, but it has no connection to anything we've worked on. What do you think? Is Jamie telling us the truth? Is it a redirection? It's not an outright denial? Actually, I guess it is an outright denial, but but I mean, this is a story we've heard before. So I'm curious. Did you have a chance to play Sam Gray's fan expansion, the chicks and the habitats and the purple cards and the new brown and once played cards? And what did you think? Would you like to see that as a part of the expansion for Wingspan? Drop a comment below. That's all I have for you this week. I am really looking forward to learning more about Codename Clay and, you know, seeing what that Wingspan expansion is all about. What about you? What are you most looking forward to out of Stonemaier Games that you know about? Leave me a comment below. Thanks, as always, for watching. Take care of each other, and I'll talk to you later.